Hey guys, what's up? This is Casey. This is Coach
Tom.
And
All right.
this is Shot Science Overtime number 164. We want to welcome you guys to our live show. Remember that this is not a regular Shot Science type video. It's not going to be 2 or 3 minutes long. It's not going to be a tutorial. This is going to be a Q&A where we talk to you guys about helping you become better basketball players. If it's not for you, that's cool. Get out now. But we don't want to hear about it. So thank you for showing up. What we do most of these meetings is that we like to have a topic that we talk about at the top of the show. And while we're talking about that topic, you guys are sending us anything basketball related that you want to talk about or questions you want answered. So it could be on anything basketball related: passing, shooting, dribbling, defense, talking to your coach, athleticism, whatever that may be. Send it our way. And we're going to talk about a topic that we think is going to help you guys become better basketball players or offer you some more insight into maybe taking your game to the next level. Make sure that you follow us on all of our social media stuff, because we also talk about this kind of stuff on there every day.
Yep.
We're on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and you can check us all out there and know what we're up to every day and talk to us on those places. Okay. So it looks like we have a few people that are showing up already. Zeno, hey, greetings from Amsterdam. What's up, Zeno? Scott Sloop is from Oregon. Alamo Tongo says hello, greetings from India. And Rakesh says hello. What's up, you guys?
All right.
Yeah. So let's jump into our topic while we gain some more people here, and send us your questions, okay? So our topic for today is the hidden importance of rebounding.
Yeah, probably a lot of young players don't really understand too much about this, but rebounding is important. Probably for the most part, because it gives your team more possessions. And we talk about possessions as being the indicator of who's probably going to win that basketball game. And so there are a lot of ways to get possessions, but rebounding is a very keen one. And sometimes we don't really think about the fact that we need to block our player out so they can't get the rebound, and instead we get it.
Yeah,
Okay?
and you should think about possessions as scoring opportunities.
Oh, yes.
And the more scoring opportunities you have, obviously, the more points you're going to be able to put on the board.
Exactly.
So rebounds they're not just going up and getting the ball and that's the bottom line of it.
Yeah.
It's really about getting the ball and gaining more possessions, more scoring opportunities.
And some of those possessions are going to be really immediately positive, because if they're offensive rebounds, you can put the ball right back in possibly and get a score. And if you're going the other way, you get that ball off a rebound and get it out on your outlet pass, and off you go. Really important things for you to remember. Now, one of the things that's really kind of important as well on rebounding is, can you predetermine where the ball's going to go? Well, you can get a pretty good guess on it, because it's been proven through studies and whatnot that if I am shooting from let's say the left side of the court, the ball is probably going to rebound to the opposite side of the floor about 70% of the time. And so that's important information for us to know. Other things that kind of come into play is that if we allow people to slip by us because we don't do a very good job of blocking them out, then they're going to get possible offensive finishes, which is going to go on their side of the score and not ours.
Yeah, and you have to remember, you're working in a limited time frame. Yeah. So any possession / scoring opportunity is going to be extremely important for you to take care of.
Right.
And if you are kind of not aware of how many possessions you get in a game compared to how much time you have, I mean, you really do have a limited time for you to get things done.
Yeah, I was reading an article very recently, and they were talking about different things that happen for control of the basketball. And we get steals. We are able to block shots and tap them away. We get rebounds, offensive and defensive. And they were talking about how many possessions this might be in the normal flow of a basketball game. And one of the persons who was responding to this was saying, we look to get between 60 and 70 possessions a game. Now, that probably is maybe a little extended. I would think maybe probably 50 to 70 might be a more realistic one if you're not really pressing the game. If you're pressing full court, if you're fast breaking every time you get a basketball, then that count is going to go up. But the thing that's important is whoever has the most possessions has got the greater chance to win. And one of the things that we don't really think about too much is that we get careless with the basketball. I know in our practice this last week, I was going absolutely crazy because the passing was so horrible. People were not taking care of the basketball, and as a result, they're throwing really crappy passes. They're throwing passes without looking to see if there's a defensive player in the way. And so we kind of instituted a little punishment for that for a little bit. And that punishment was this, is if you throw a bad pass, everybody is going to do 10 push-ups. Well, we did about 30 push-ups there in about 3 or 4 minutes before we began to settle down and take more care of the basketball. And that's really a key point in the fact that you're going to have more possessions because of taking care of the basketball.
Yeah, and you'll see coaches and their faces light up when they see a guy just going after it, or a lady going after it to get the rebound, because they understand the importance of that kind of play, because it adds into opportunities to score.
Absolutely.
Same thing when you see coaches that are all about guys that are on the ground, that are diving after basketballs, that are playing intense defense. A rebound it's basically worth just as much as a steal or a block or whatever, fill in the blank, because you are taking that possession and you're retaining it for yourself and not for the other team.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's one way that you can really endear yourself to coaches, for sure, is if it becomes a big part of your game. And you'll see, someone like Dennis Rodman, that guy, in the Hall of Fame because he did one job, and he did one job really well.
And the guy averaged 20 rebounds a game. I mean, that's awesome.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's just, don't forget how important that is. So many people get caught up on, I'm just going to be a shooter, I'm just going to be a defender, I'm going to go for steals. Rebounds are a huge thing, huge part of your game that you should develop no matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you're a point guard. You can get a bunch of rebounds. I mean, look at Steph Curry. He gives up 6, 7, 8 inches on guys, and he's in there, and he's getting rebounds, and he gets at least a handful a game. So really look at how important it is to get rebounds, and look at kind of the fundamentals of getting that done. It's not just about going after the basketball. There's really some technique. There's some footwork involved, and you can go check out our videos on that on our channel too.
And learning how to block off the other player. Some of the things that we don't think about very much when we're rebounding is the fact that rebounding is different on the ball side versus the help side. And it's different because as on the help side, you're further away from the person that you're playing against. If we're playing man-to-man, maybe even zone as well. And so we have to take and not turn and look immediately at the basket when there's a shot taken. What we need to do on that help side is to immediately turn our attention to our defender that we're working with and find out what he's doing. And what we want to do is we want to take and step toward him, and this is how we teach it. You take a step toward him and you are reading which direction he's going to go. And what you're doing then is you're closing that space between the two of you, and you can then get maybe a turn on him where you can get him on your back and keep him from getting to the basketball. Now, you don't have to take a look and follow the flight of the ball. There's several things that are good indicators for you. And number one, if you're on the help side and the shot's taken for the other side of the floor, there's a good chance the ball's going to come to your side, and vice versa. If you're on the help side, probably it's going to come to your side less often than it does to the other side. And if you're on the help or on the ball side, the thing that you've got to remember is this, that you're probably going to be playing really close to your opponent. And so it makes it a little easier for us to block out. One of the biggest things that drives me crazy is the fact that as soon as the shot goes up, I'm looking at the shot. You don't need to look at the shot. You know where it's going. It's going to the hoop. And by the time you see or make a turn on your guy, especially on the ball side, is that then you can get your head around and the ball probably hasn't gotten there yet, and then you can make a read on it from there.
Yeah, you know where the ball's going to go. Just make sure that the ball is released out of the guy's hand in a shot. Then you can go locate your guy, get a body on him, and there's some technique to that too, and we'll get into that later at some other time. But get your body on them, and then once you have them on your pinned, then you can look up and see where the ball is going to go, because typically you'll have enough time to make all that happen while the ball is still in the air.
Right, and the thing, a couple of things that you want to kind of think about on the rebounding, though, are these, and that is that you want to find the basketball and go get it. Oftentimes players will block their players out, and then they just kind of settle down, and you maybe, if you took 1 or 2 steps to the left, you could attack that rebound and bring it down yourself. So the things that are important here is in rebounding are making sure that you get a turn on your guy, whether it's ball side or help side, and then making sure that we find the basketball and then attack the rebound. And we have what we call the monster rebound drill, where we spend a lot of time with those players that are going to be around the basket more and getting them to go get the basketball. Go get the basketball.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and just kind of wait and, well, it didn't come to me, so I'm not worrying about it. Go get it.
It's a mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just hope that the ball comes to you, or be kind of touchy-feely and not want people to touch you or anything. Yeah. You have to really have the mentality that you're going to go after the basketball.
Right.
You're going to put it all on the line, and you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Because that's how you outcompete people for going after it. Because you got to think that there's at least 9 guys, if not all 10 of you, going after the basketball.
Yeah.
So rebounding is a mentality, and there's definitely some technique and things behind it, but it is so important.
It's a possession.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scoring
don't
opportunity.
Let it get away from you.
I mean, it can come down to one scoring opportunity, one possession can change whether you win or lose a game.
Exactly.
And so think about that when you're going for a rebound.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's going to do it for us on the rebound, right? Are we good with that?
Sounds good. Yeah.
We're going to jump into talking to you guys about some questions that you have. First thing that I want to say is that I want to invite all of you guys to go check out shotscience.com. And right now you can go on there, you can check out kind of what we're all about. You can buy some t-shirts, some Shot Science t-shirts. You can also see a little bit about some of the online training that we do. So if you guys are in some of these places that aren't near us here in California, you can get on there and we can do some clinics, some one-on-one chats with you guys, some training. So make sure you go check out shotscience.com. It's brand new. And we want you guys to check it out.
Yeah,
you're like the first group of people that we're telling about that publicly. So go check it out. And we're going to ask you one question before we jump into answering your guys' questions. And that question is our question that we ask every week, and that is this.
I don't remember.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We want to know where you're from.
Yeah.
That's where we want to know.
Yeah, we want to know where you guys are from, because we're here in Santa Cruz, California, which is south of San Francisco. We want to know where you guys are from. We mentioned some of you guys up front at the top of the show, being from India and Denmark and wherever. Just we want to know where you guys are from, because we want to know where you guys are playing ball. Sure. Like Batman, he's playing some ball in Canada.
All right.
Gotham City is not too happy about that. And Guilherme is from Brazil. So if you guys let us know where you're from, we'll kind of shout out a few of you as we go along. So make sure you following us on all of our social media stuff. Check out shotscience.com, and let's get into some of these questions, because there was a whole bunch.
Oh, there are.
Let's see here. Ooh, School Bus Q says greetings from Aruba.
All right.
And the Reviews Dude, who I remember from many of our past shows, says it's been a while. Yeah, well, we're glad to have you back.
Yeah.
Evan Lynn is from Canada as well. Okay. Scott Sloop says, can I get rebounds if I'm short?
Oh, yeah, you can. It's so funny that oftentimes people who are shorter think that they can't rebound. Well, if you work on getting good position and getting your butt into that guy's legs behind you, you'd be surprised how you can go get the rebounds. And oftentimes, if they're reaching over the top of you because you blocked them out so well, they're fouling you. And so that's a change of possession right there.
Here's a few things that you can do that are kind of technique based. Yeah. When you locate that guy and you're going to meet him, put your foot right in the middle of his feet.
Exactly.
And when you do that, you kind of neutralize where he can go. And you also are setting the stage for you turning and putting your butt into them. Yeah. And the other thing is that when you get down and you get your butt into people, especially if it's into their legs, they're going to have an impossible time trying to jump and get any kind of leverage to jump and rebound.
It's really hard to get vertical yourself if you've got somebody's butt pushing it against your upper legs.
Yeah,
and that's probably where you're going to be. Yeah.
And they're probably going to foul you because it's going up and over the back. And if they try to jump, it's going to look awkward, and you're going to get the benefit on that. The other thing is this, is that you don't want to have your arms, let me see, we've got a mirror image here, but you don't want to have your arms back and tucked and holding like that. You want to have it so that your arms are up, your elbows are out. Oh, geez, this is hard to figure out. Yeah. Your elbows are out, because if you have your elbows out here and they're trying to go around you, those things are sharp and they do not feel good. And you don't
right in the chest, right?
Yeah, and you don't use them as pins, but you use them as kind of spikes that are just not comfortable to go around. And so that's one of those ways that you can really kind of neutralize them trying to go out and around you.
Right.
But just hold your position and then go after the basketball. That's, again, that mentality.
Yeah.
Looks like our color changed there a little bit. Okay, let's see. This one is from the Reviews Dude, who says, how to improve your rebounding as a smaller guard. Oh, no.
Our electricity has gone south on us. Well, hopefully we'll be able to keep
Okay,
going.
hold on. Let's see. Can we turn it back on and off? Oh, dang.
That doesn't give us too much.
Sorry, guys. Hopefully, are we still on? Looks like we are. So
bear with us.
Yeah, hold on. Maybe we can get some more light here going. Let's see here. Maybe I'll have you answer a question and I'll go grab another light or something. How to improve your rebounding as a smaller guard? Well, I mean, that's a lot of the things that we just talked about.
It is. And, you don't want to ever consider that you're not going to be an effective rebound because maybe you're shorter, you're probably quicker, maybe you're stronger even than some big guys. And once you get in and get them on your back or on your butt, then you're going to find that you're going to be in pretty good position to rebound, no matter how big you are.
Okay, do you think this is something you could talk about for a couple minutes while I go grab a bulb?
How to score against a zone defense.
That's
Let's talk about that.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right. One of the things that that is really important in scoring against zone defense is this. First of all, you've got to have some shooters. They don't have to be great shooters, but they have to be able to put the ball up with a good chance that they're going to put the ball in the hole. And so some of the zone principles that I particularly like and we teach is this. We want to take and make sure that we get ball movement from one baseline to the other. And what we mean by that is, let's say that we have a player on both baselines and we have two players at the free throw line extended and then maybe a point guard. And what we want to do is we want to massage the defense a little bit. So the ball can start anywhere and you want to take it all the way around to the baseline on one side, and then you take and go all the way around to the baseline on the opposite side. And we usually tell our players that when we're playing against a zone, we want to get ball movement baseline to baseline. And what happens there is that we're making that defense continually flex. They all have to find new positions. And usually what happens as the ball maybe starts a second movement in the opposite direction, what we're going to find some lazy players who aren't making the proper slides, and they put themselves in a situation where you're able to go through that seam that they are supposed to be responsible for, or you can catch and shoot because they're laying back. And so ball movement is really important. One of the other things that we think is really important in attack a zone is we use this terminology every day, and this is fake a pass to make a pass. And what happens is if I fake a pass to the right like that, and the defender is going to have to move. If they don't move, then probably what we're going to do is we're going to be able to attack that seam in between him and the person that's playing on that side. So important elements are making sure that we fake a pass to make a pass. If I want to throw the ball into the middle, which is one of the key things about attacking a zone, get the ball in the middle of the defense. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take and fake the ball out to the wing on one side, and it's just a quick little pump, and then we take and go inside. We fake out here, throw a bounce pass inside. So the things that are important is ball movement, middle penetration. Middle penetration can be achieved two ways. Number one, we can throw the ball into the middle to a player there because usually when you're playing in a conventional 2-3 or a 1-2-2 type of defense, there are going to be seams in there where we can actually get the ball into the middle. The other thing is, I lost my train of thought there a little bit.
Sorry.
It'll come back to me in about a week.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
All right. Hang on.
That was on the fly troubleshooting.
Okay.
there.
The other way to get the ball into the middle is to attack a seam, and seams are those locations between two players. Let's say we've got the guards up top on a 2-3, and we got the wings down below, and very possibly they don't make an appropriate slide, and that opens up that seam that we can get into with a hard dribble. And so when we go in there with a hard dribble and we're able to get through that seam, we're into the middle. And when we get into the middle, we've got the opportunity maybe to get a score, dump the ball off to a player along the baseline. And so those are some of the elements, and not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah. What did I miss? Sorry about that. We had a bulb just die on us, you guys. Yeah. But let's see here. Let's shout out some people that said where they were from. This is Fidel McCoon, who says, greetings from Argentina. Bojan Sazdo from Frankfurt, Germany. Ball out till you fall out. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Jeez, I can't talk. Mark Treya is from New Jersey. Melik Zimmerelli is from Tunisia. Elizabeth is from Arkadelphia, Arkansas. That's a cool name. Of course, Guilherme is from Brazil. Cool, you guys. Anybody else want to let us know where you're from? Looks like I missed a whole bunch of them, but let me know, and we'll get back to you guys. Okay, let's get back to questions here. Oh, wait, hold on. There is School Bus Q from Aruba. I think we might have hit him before.
Yeah, we got him here. Yeah.
Okay, this one is from Ball Out Till You Fall Out. Hey guys, great stuff. It's helped my daughter become the point guard she is. Thanks for your tireless efforts in the education of basketball. Thank you for watching.
Yeah,
and
that is very cool.
And tell your daughter that we're proud of all of her achievements, for sure.
We appreciate your recognition, too. That is super.
Yeah. Let's see here. Elizabeth Watson asks, I'm 5'8". How can I get the ball before the big girl?
Well, at 5'8", there's not too many girls probably bigger than you are. I mean, 5'8" is a pretty good sized girl. How do you get it before they get it?
It depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Are you talking about are you
Rebounding?
playing defense or rebounding? Are you talking about trying to get open to get the pass? Right. Probably need some more information on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe you're talking about rebounding. Let's take it in that context because that's what we're talking about. Again, it comes back to all those techniques that we talked about, working on getting the footwork down, getting your butt down and into their legs, which really helps on the block out, and then the mentality of going after the ball.
Exactly. You know, a couple of things that really help is that if you can get your butt into the people's legs and you can get those arms out with the elbows out. You know, one of the things we don't really think about too much is the fact that when we have our hands up, it is a shorter distance to attack that rebound. And I see so many of the local athletes, and I see it around different parts of the country as well, is they will reach down behind them and try to pin the rebounder from behind between their arms. That's a hold, any way you shake it. And so we like to, and it's a long ways up to get to that basketball whenever you're rebounding. So we like to have the hands up. The other thing that Casey mentioned a while ago that's really important is this. If I take and have my elbows out and I stick my elbow in his sternum right here, I can keep him from getting around me because I can then slide with him, little shuffle step to keep him behind me.
Okay. So we keep reiterating stuff, so we're going to try to hammer through some of this as best as we can. Batman is saying, I'm trying out for basketball tomorrow. Any tips? Yes. Go to our videos on how to make the team. Yeah. We have a handful of them, and those are really the things that you can do in 24 hours time that will give you a better shot at making the team. Yeah,
it's really hard to go to tryouts when you haven't prepped yourself over a long period of time, but that'll help.
Yes. This is from Scott Sloop, who says, I'm 4'9". I typically play point, but I hate shooting, so what should I work on? Everything. Versatile players are going to get the playing time. Yeah. One-trick ponies, they get to sit on the bench until they're needed. That's never a good way to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Zeno says, the amount of possessions isn't really a good indicator, is it? It also depends on the pacing. We're talking about kind of possessions compared to your opponents. You want to out possess the ball compared to your opponents. You could have 100 possessions each, but that still comes out to maybe basically a close or tied score. So if you are able to get that one more possession, then you are going to be probably in a better shape or better place for you to be ahead.
Yeah, consider
It's
this.
very general we're talking about.
It is. Consider this, though, that let's say that Casey's team is playing my team, and everything is equal. We got 50 possessions apiece in that game. That's even before we play. Let's say that's the case. Okay. Casey turns over the ball 4 times, and now I've got 54 possessions, and he's got 46. And you can see how that slide back and forth can affect the score, especially if your team and his team are both able to score. And so those possessions are really important, whether the rebound, steals, anything that that constitutes a possession.
Okay, Evan Lynn is asking, how can I become a better catch and shoot player? That is a very complicated and complex question.
It is.
Basically, it comes down to our 3 pillars of practice that we suggest that you check out. But it comes down to a lot to footwork. And one thing that we will say, here's our one big tip on this, is that the last dribble when you're pulling the ball up should be a real rocket. Boom, pick it up. And on the catch, when you're catching a pass, you want to already be making that rounded footwork into positioning to take the shot.
Exactly.
And if you want more information on developing that or getting better at that, go to shotscience.com, because that's part of our all access premium content, is that we talk exactly about how to build and do that. And we give you demonstrations and break it down and give you drills. So go check that out, and that will help you a lot. Otherwise, it will take half of our show here to talk about that. Let's see here. Rakesh keeps asking us about what we think about another type of shooting system. We don't spend too much time worrying about other shooting system stuff. We always are looking at new things and evolving and kind of making sure that what we teach is the optimal stuff. It's one of those things where you're probably not teaching exactly the way that you were teaching shooting in the 60s or 70s as you are
60s
as you are now.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
It's generally pretty close to the same stuff.
It is.
It's just we have evolved. The game has evolved. It's a little bit different. Other people, they have other points of view. If you want to look at the stuff that we talk about, we give you every single reason why we do things the way we do and why you should maybe not do them other ways. And if that resonates with you, go with that. If it doesn't, you don't have to listen to it.
Your choice, yeah.
Yeah. We're not out here to sell you something that doesn't work or that doesn't make sense. That's why we're always giving you guys the why of everything that we do.
And we're not judging either. We're not.
No.
We're going to do that.
Yeah. And we don't get into back and forth with anybody on stuff. And we listen to everybody too. If they have a different point of view, we're not dismissing them with prejudice. Like, we listen to stuff, we look at all the new stuff that people are talking about. But if it doesn't work or it doesn't rationalize the stuff that we do, then we're not gonna use that. Okay, let's see here. Momar Ndaye is from Senegal. How to do the transition from a pickup basketball player to a 5-on-5 basketball player?
Well,
you just got to get it. It's really all just about experience.
Well,
You got to kind of just jump into it.
Well, yeah. Excuse me.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Well, that's really all there is to it. You just got to do it. So many people think that there's like a magic way to make things just work out, but there isn't. You have to transition yourself from being on the pickup court to going on 5-on-5. And if you've never done one or the other, then obviously it's going to take you a little bit of an adjustment period.
Yeah, there's a little bit more control maybe in a 5-on-5 game than there is just a pickup game, because a lot of freelancing takes place in pickup games that maybe doesn't work so well in the scope of a 5-on-5. And so like Casey says, you just need to get into it and see how the flow of the thing on 5-on-5 goes for you, and watching other players, because we learn every day from other players. In fact, I'm going to take just a moment here to kind of rant. Okay. One of the things that we do with our teams is that we tell the players before we really get going in practice that we want them, the older players, more experienced players, you're going to help teach those that are younger. And we think coaching players can be really effective. Now, the big snag is that we get maybe some of the ones who think they're really too good to do that, and we have to reshape their attitude a little bit. But what happens is this: there's only so many set of coaches' eyes, and they can only see so many things. And so by having players coach players, it becomes very effective, especially if they're not putting the other person down. And here's how we deal with it. If we've got something going on and we tell a player, I want you to step in when they have trouble, and you start to tell them exactly what they need to do. We'll stop practice while you do that. And, coaches can see what's going on, and they see that there's maybe a little discussion getting ready to go. All right, everybody hold it, and we'll wait until they're finished before we move on, because we want them to have a lot of input, and the players who have played and have more experience have that input.
And that's great if that works out. But you can't expect that to happen. You need to be your own self-starter. Get in there. Don't worry about failure or other people's opinions. You just got to do it. If you're going to just sit back and worry about what ifs, then you're never going to do it. So just get over it. Get out there and do it. Evan Lynn is asking, which is better in a catch and shoot situation, hop step or 1-2 step? We're going to say 1-2 step every single time. People want to teach this hopping into your shot thing, and it is not backed up by any kind of scientific physiological evidence that it's better. And it really isn't. Like we work with clinical physiologists. One of the shot science guys is a clinical physiologist with the degrees in exercise science and things like that. And we work with other people in that field as well. And we show that hopping in is going to make you less on balance. It's less explosive, and it is less quick. 1-2 is going to always be more efficient because it starts well before you even catch the ball.
If you're using the proper footwork, that's true.
Yeah, and it's more balanced because you're taking one point of contact and bringing the second point of contact to that. You are staying in a position of low to high, as opposed to the hop, which is going to be high to low to high. More time is going to go by. And the 1-2 also gives you options. Instead of coming down and landing on both feet, you are going to have the option to have that 1-2 step and go right into a move.
A counter move.
Yeah. And so you don't even have to take the shot. You still have options. So when people say that hopping in is better than 1-2, they haven't looked at the real evidence. They haven't looked at the slow motion footage. They haven't talked to the right physiologists that actually know all of this stuff is going on. And the other thing is that, yes, there's going to be situations where you hop into a shot, because basketball is not going to always be playing out in a way that you are going to get to do the things you want to do. Right. That's fine. But your primary and your go-to should be the 1-2 step.
Absolutely.
And this is the last thing I'll say about it, because we could rant about this one forever too. Mm-hmm. The last thing that we'll say about this too is that so many people confuse the 1-2 step with a 1 foot pivot, bring the other foot around. All right, let's go into the shot. That is not a 1-2 step. A 1-2 step this is how you hit the ground. It is a 1-2 step. Yeah. 1-2, 1-2, and it is that fast. Go look at our videos on our channel, and we show you that is a 1-2 step. Yeah. And if somebody is saying that isn't, then they're trying to make up rules for their own things. Yeah. So anyway, okay, rant over. Let's go down here. Let's see. Ball out to you, Fall. It says, at what age do you think a player is ready for travel ball?
That's a great question. I've wondered that myself. I know that travel ball goes way down to the 10 and unders, and maybe lower than that in some areas. But I think travel ball is something that's overworked probably on all levels. And you're finding that a lot of the travel ball doesn't have an awful lot of really solid backing when it comes to teaching the game and teaching people how to play. Is more about collecting really good players, going to a tournament to see if you can beat them, okay? And maybe you do, maybe you don't. what travel ball ought to be, and you're finding more and more backing on this from professional basketball players, professional athletes. The thing to do is that they need to be more teaching of fundamental skills in basketball, because that's one of the things that is really not up to par, and it's not up to par with European basketball in particular. They oftentimes are more skilled than American players because their coaches are spending time really working on skill development. So I'm not really crazy about travel ball, and I coached it for about 15 years. But we always taught our kids
more than
how
that.
to go.
I mean,
maybe it was 20 years. I'm not sure.
The thing is that you have to invest in your individual skill development.
Yeah.
And if you are not doing that and you're just doing it playing games, then you aren't going to be able to advance up the levels of basketball.
Exactly.
Because your skills will not be competitive.
Right.
And maybe people get by with a lot of athleticism and things like that, which when you go to these games, you see that. There's these incredible athletes and they're able to do okay, but once they get past the high school level and they're playing in college and they're going up against people that have athleticism and the skills, then it becomes really obvious where their weaknesses are.
It really does.
So spend time. You should be spending much more time on your personal skill development than you are playing in just experience. It comes back to the 3 pillars of practice.
Yes, it does.
Got to have the appropriate balance of that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, we need a lightning round this because we got so many questions and we've been just going off on long rants. So let's short answers.
Okay.
Are we in for that?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Dan Dabrowski says, how do I know when to kick it out of the post? If you are getting crowded and there's an open teammate.
And you've got nothing you can do, kick it out.
Yeah.
And repost again. That's the thing that oftentimes we don't do, is we'll kick the ball out and then we'll just go lazy. And the thing to do is step back in there, pin your guy, and call for the ball again. And oftentimes when they throw it back in, you don't have these other players who are congesting things where you can't get anything done.
If there's 2 defenders on you, there's one of your teammates open.
Yeah.
Mark Trella says, how do you get around a guy that is boxing you out on a rebound? There's 2 ways.
Yeah.
One is the swim method, where they're going to have their arm up like this, and you kind of come up like this. You don't grab them, but you swim around them like that. It's almost like a swim stroke, and you go around, step around with your foot. And the other is you can spin.
You can spin on them, yeah.
Spin, use your back, just spin across their back. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Dan. Let's see. Dan is saying smack his hand down and try to step through him. You don't want to do any kind of smacking or grabbing or any of that. That will get called as a foul.
Yeah. One of the things that you can do, which works really pretty good, and this is another type of seam move. If I want to get by Casey, I'm going to take my hand here, and so I've got it like this. I'm going to try and collapse that arm, and the other arm comes over the top in a swim move. I can collapse it if I get it right here in this yoke and just collapse it. I can't collapse his so much because those are big arms.
Jeez. All right. Okay, let's see. Romar Rivera says, hey, bros, I'm from Puerto Rico. I want to ask how to be a better one-on-one player.
Skill development is the answer.
3 pillars of practice of skill development. That's really it. Got to have that diligent, kind of slowed down, purposeful practice. The second pillar, which is game speed, game intensity practice, where you're kind of upping the intensity of all of the stuff that you just worked on. And the third pillar is game experience. And, if you start doing that stuff, you will start to develop very quickly. Let's see. Mr. Garza says, what if you're short and everyone swarms the paint? How do you get the rebound? You just got to do the best that you can. You're not going to get everything, but like we said, it's all about technique and mentality.
Yeah.
Nectar888 is from Nova Scotia, Canada. It says, I coach new players to the game, 12 to 14 years old. What would you suggest as one good offense to run? They have trouble getting open and passing to someone open. They wait too long.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Teach them how to play without having the ball. Teach them how to play.
Yeah.
So many people get caught up in teaching these offenses to kids that the kids aren't prepared to do that because they'll just run on the rails of that offense. Teach them to play without the ball, without a set. So you'll teach them to run back cuts, L cuts, V cuts, teach them to move the ball, reverse the ball, set screens, teach them how to do those things so that they can just go out there and do it, and you don't have to have a necessary offense run every time.
Yeah, that's really true. Since I was a fairly young guy, which wasn't yesterday, one of the things that I've always believed is that you could take and build a really strong offense around some basic kinds of things. One of them would be a pass and a give and go, and making sure that we get across the defender's face when we go. Another is to just take and pass the ball, screen away. There's probably a half a dozen of those little things about basketball that you could put into an offense and you'll probably do very well. Young kids have difficulty in accepting, understanding plays. And so as Casey mentioned, this is one of the terms we use a lot, is the fact that oftentimes kids they learn how to run on rails. In other words, the coach says, you go here and you screen, that guy comes over, this guy over here makes a back cut, and that we've got all these rules, this choreography of the play. And in reality, they do that, but they never get open for the shot.
They just miss opportunities.
They don't know where the shots really are supposed to be oftentimes. So the thing that I think is really important is teaching them how to take and play with about 4 or 5 basic ideas, and then set that in a setting where it is maybe 4 out or 5 out, where they're facing the basket, where they can run this offense.
I mean, the main rule should just be you're not standing ever in one place.
Well, movement is the key. I mean, you take a look at the Warriors, you take a look at San Antonio, and other teams are starting to adopt this. There is so much movement, it is really difficult for the defense to keep up with players when there's a lot of movement.
And it doesn't have to be designed down to the second what you're doing.
Yeah.
And here Nectar is saying, thanks, I threw out my triangle offense plans on the first practice. No ball movement. Got it.
Yeah.
We're saying ball movement. Yeah, tons of ball movement.
Yeah.
Triangle offense, we've seen this recently. A lot of people are trying to kind of institute that into lower levels of basketball, like high school and junior high, and it's ridiculous because the triangle offense is very complex kind of concept. And in theory, it would be great, but you have to have 5 basketball minds working on that
understand what they're trying to do.
So that's why it works well for the Warriors, and it works well for teams that like the Chicago Bulls of the 90s and stuff. But when you're trying to get kids in high school to pull that off, that is not going to work. And it's just like they have to know what they're doing, what the options are, and it's too complex for most people that age.
One of the things you mentioned, I'm not sure what you were relating to, but you were talking about ball movement. We talk about ball movement a lot. We also talk about player movement a lot. And those two things combined can create a lot of really interesting situations. Let's say I have a guy that is playing defense with me and I attack the basket, I'm able to get even with him, and now I can take and look, maybe there's a guy there I can drop a little bounce pass to. Okay. And those are the kind of things that you're looking at.
Okay. Romar Rivera says, hey, I'm from Puerto Rico, so how can I get better at reading the defense? Again, you have to get the experience, and you have to kind of be a student and study this stuff and look at what happens when you do a certain thing. And always have counter moves for whatever move that you are going to go with. Den V Star, who's here all the time, can I shoot the ball from my elbow? Because usually my assist hand ruins my shot, so maybe placing my hand a bit to the right would fix this. Thanks. Good job in calling it the assist hand and not the guide hand. Not exactly sure specifically what you're saying here. Can I shoot the ball from my elbow?
I don't understand that either. If you go back and take a look at our videos on shooting, and we'll talk about set point, where the shot is going to begin from. Sometimes younger kids, we have them start down here a little bit below the chin. Other times we have them elevate so it's up above their shooting eye. And maybe that'll help you. But just go look at the video and kind of digest the things that we're suggesting.
Yeah, and if you want, you can go to shotscience.com and check out the all access. And we have a whole huge section on shooting and kind of the finer points of that and some drills on that too.
Absolutely.
So go check that out. Dan Dabrowski's asking, how can I be aggressive in the post? Just a mentality thing. You got to just really kind of flip that switch and get rid of and erase that fear of failure or feeling silly, because number one, it doesn't really matter. And number two, that's the only way you'll get into that mentality space. Nate Duran is asking, how do you gain confidence in your shot? You have to have confidence in your execution.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's amazing. Went to our freshman practice the other day, and the shooting was horrible. And we had 2 or 3 of our students there, and they were shooting the ball really well. Not great, but really well. In comparison, nobody else was able to get much done. Shooting with 2 hands, bring the ball back by the ear. I mean, it was just horrendous. I had to leave. Okay. And so one of the things you need to think is, first of all, develop the stroke mechanics. I mean, that is really key. And once you develop the stroke mechanics, then it is a matter of repetition, repetition, repetition. And that goes like this. The first thing you have to do, if you're serious about changing your shot for the better, you have to take and erase the muscle memory that you have in your brain for how you shoot the basketball right now. One player that is a relatively new one for us, he was one of these guys that was throwing it back here. And so at a couple of meetings, this is where we don't want to shoot the ball from, and here's why.
Okay.
Okay, now let me finish.
We gotta hurry
I know,
up.
but let me finish. And so after a couple of sessions, you could see he was starting to change his stroke mechanics, and now he's out here, and his shot was starting to fall. He was getting better arc, a whole bunch of things. And so first of all, get all of that working, and then it's a matter of repetition over and over and over again.
And game speed, game intensity practice.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to see the ball go through the hoop to have confidence that it's going to do it when you're doing it in a game.
Exactly. And you have to build that. It's not something that we flip a switch. Oh, there it is. Okay. Takes time.
Confidence, we say this all the time, but confidence in your skills will give you confidence in the execution of your skills.
Exactly.
Okay. This one is Daily Basketball. Cameron from Orange County, California says, wanted some advice on not getting cut off by your defender after getting by him with that initial first step crossover or slash crossover. That's, in other words, not allowing him to regain position after that initial move. That is one of those things where you need to be going hip to hip with a long 1-on-1 dribble. And you are sealing them by using your hip and kind of the contact of that hip to hip step to seal them off. And if they're catching up with you after that, that means that you must have stopped or slowed down, because that will seal them and let you get by them. So check out our videos on hip to hip.
Long 1-on-1.
Long 1-on-1, hip to hip attack. You can even look at something like the hammer, which is another thing that you can check out. But those offensive moves and tools are really what you need to be using.
One of the things, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, and one of the reasons why you do that hip to hip long 1-on-1 is that because you don't want to step out and around. When you are attacking the basket, you are going from north to south, not east to west. And east to west implies that you're stepping out and around instead of going straight and cutting them off.
Right. Okay, now I've forgotten what I was going to say, so let's go on.
It was probably that, right? Let's see.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. On that long 1-on-1 attack, when you kind of learn how to do it, and we're going to do a video on this pretty soon, you want to learn about leverage and using your body to get yourself into a better position to score on a layup. The defensive guy is probably going to be using leverage to push you away. You learn how to make space to get your shot off with leverage.
Okay, this one is from Emanuela Alfred, who says, hey, my coach said I'm a good shooter from mid-range, but I can't shoot from farther away. What do I do to shoot higher? Okay, it's not about shooting higher. It really is that people need to take the time to progress their shooting range, essentially. Yeah. So we always suggest to use the form shooting drill to be able to extend your range by progressing back. And you start out very close in, master those close positions, take a step back, master that, take a step back, and it takes you a while to get back. But as you do that, you will be building up your muscle memory, you'll be building up your strength, you'll be building up your shot efficiency, and so everything will kind of be in place as you take a step back. If you try to go from 2 feet to 20 feet, that's when all of your mechanics break down, and you'll end up heaving the ball, and your kind of fine focus of aiming and getting the right release is going to be very much compromised. So progress back using the form shooting drill. Let's see here. Lots of long ones. Sam Gauthier says, what is the best spot for rebounding on the court? Anywhere.
Well, yeah. The good spot is where the basketball is going to come to on the rebound. That's the best spot.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get to really pick and choose where the shot's going to land.
It's going to take and bounce a lot of different directions.
Let's see here. This one is from Evan Lynn, who says, I'm one of the best shooters on my high school team, but my coach asked me to pass the ball to the big man more. Next time, if I have a chance, should I take the open three or pass to the big man? Ooh, that's a tough situation.
Yeah, that is. And you have to listen to coach, because he's the guy who puts you in the game and takes you out of the game. That's really important to kind of listen to him. But don't be afraid to shoot the basketball. Coach, I had a good look on that one. Coach, that guy looked like he was reaching around him and batted away. I mean, you don't want to make excuses, but at the same time, there could be reasons why you don't want to give that guy the basketball. Now, here's another thing that's really important, and some coaches don't think about that, about this, and that is, if I find they're throwing the ball into the post all the time, I'm going to set my defense against that. One of the first things that we do is we front him, and he doesn't catch the ball anymore because it's too risky to throw the ball over the top. So we take that shot or that pass away from him, and now you're open for the three looks if you're capable of getting that. But when he is open and the player is playing on his shoulder or behind him, don't be afraid to get the basketball to him too. Basketball is not a game of just guys who can shoot it. It's a game of 5 guys playing together. Some will get shots, some won't. Some will get rebounds, some won't.
Okay, this one is from Milton, who says, I'm in 10th grade and my coach is trying to change my form. When I normally shoot, my feet are slanted a bit and I fade back a little. Is that bad? The first thing is not bad.
Right. You don't want to fade when you shoot the basketball.
Fading in your shot is adding another level of complexity, and you're basically trying to shoot at a stationary target while you're moving.
Well,
and that's not easy. I mean, you want to really have yourself set in 3D space when you're going up into your shot.
Exactly.
And that's going to eliminate a variable, which is fading back. You're trying to hit a target while you're moving.
And why would you be fading back? Well, there's a couple of reasons.
All right, let's hurry.
Number one, maybe your fear of being blocked. Number two, when you're fading away, you have a tendency for your shot to flatten out. And if it flattens out, the flat arc shot has less of an opportunity to get in the basket, no matter how good a shooter you are. So what you want to do is, rather than fade, is get up and take the shot. If they block it, oh well. We have to take and figure out what we can do with that. And so the thing that maybe you do is you come up and up fake and then go up, and maybe we get a foul on the arm. But don't fade. Don't fade. That just destroys your shot.
Yeah, and it's good to have your feet kind of positioned so that you are favoring your shooting side a little bit. You want to have that all set before you go up into your shot. You don't want it to happen while you're in the air. And like we said, any kind of twisting or fading or side-to-side lateral movement while you're going into your shot is going to add a variable, which is going to make the complexity of your shot go up. And you don't want to do that. You want to have an efficient, very simple shooting release. Okay, let's just do a couple more and then we're going to get out of here. Let's see. Tech Cuber guy says, I recently got cut from my basketball team because I could not play games on Friday nights and Saturdays because of my religion, not because of skill. I'm in the 10th grade. What should I do? That's tough.
That's a tough situation, no question about it, because typically, at least in the United States, most games are played Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. And once in a while, you maybe have a variable on another day, but that's kind of the typical pattern.
I mean,
maybe that's something that you need to talk to your parents about and see if they will maybe relent a little bit because it's a passion for you. But Boy, that's a tough one.
I mean, the coach can't keep you on the team if you're not going to be there.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
it's really not fair to people that can be there, and it's a bummer that your beliefs kind of keep you from that. But like my dad was saying, maybe you need to go talk to your parents and you can figure out some compromise, or maybe there's another league that you could play in or something that doesn't play on those nights. But it's tough. I mean, that's one of those things in life that makes it difficult to make those decisions.
Right.
Sorry. I mean, that's tough. Let's see here. Alas. Oh man, that's a tough name. Alaskna, who says, "How do I get stronger while I hold the ball so no one steals it?" Oh, where's the basketball?
Yeah.
Go ahead and start talking.
One of the things that we often do is we get a little casual about it, and it's easy to knock the ball out of our hands. We like to take, and when players catch the ball, it comes right up under our chin, and we've got our wings out like Casey has right here, and that makes it more difficult for people to get in and knock that ball out of your hands. So when you've got the ball, you can actually be turned sideways, but you still got the ball kind of up under your chin, and you've got your hands on either side of it, so you're squeezing it and not making it easy for that thing to be knocked out of there.
You get your elbows out, it's under your chin. I mean, hit the ball a couple times, Dad. It will not come out.
Well, the other thing that you can do too is when people are trying to get the ball in there, don't be afraid to pivot. We got the ball up under our chin, and we can pivot into, we can pivot away. And oh, by the way, I didn't mean to get that guy in the jaw, but I'm sorry, I guess I did.
Okay, we're not advocating that, but the thing is that you obviously don't want to stand there and let them hit the ball like you were doing, but that's just a demonstration. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's really about chinning the ball, getting those elbows out, really squeezing it, and it's going to be almost impossible for them to knock it out if you really kind of know how to do that.
Take care of the basketball.
And you can practice that. You can have your basketball at home and walk around, have your mom and dad punch it and try to knock it out of your hands, and you'll get better at that for sure. Romar Rivera says, "Make a tip miss again. Those were great. Oh. Maybe we will."
All right.
They were a little awkward to say, so that was one of the tough things about that. Okay. Aiden Ryan says, "I've badly sprained my ankle. What can I do whilst I wait for it to heal? I already miss playing. Also, do you think I should start lifting weights? I'm really, really skinny." Okay.
Take that one part at a time, Casey.
Okay. Sorry that you sprained your ankle. That sucks, but it happens to basically every basketball player at some point. What can you do while you wait for it to heal? You can do anything that doesn't aggravate or make you have to use that foot on your development of your skills. So you can sit in a chair. You can work on your ball handling there.
Skills, yeah.
If you can stand on one foot, you can work on kind of your form shooting really close to the basket.
Right.
Anything that you can do that doesn't use that foot, you can work on it.
Yeah, and you don't want to waste that time. It kind of kills me when I see somebody who has maybe got a cast in their foot and they're a pretty good player and they're sitting at the end of the bench or they're sitting over on the sidelines watching practice. Screw that. Get out there and pound the basketball. Shoot the ball. You can do that with one foot or one leg.
Yeah, and there's people that have had injuries that were kind of chronic and reoccurring, like Steph Curry. I mean, he had ankle injuries for several years when he first came into the league. I can guarantee you he wasn't just sitting around watching TV or playing video games or anything like that. He was out there working on stuff, just making sure not to damage or hurt that injury more than it already was. Okay, let's see here. We're going to do one more question.
Scroll it up just a little bit. There was one that...
I don't see any up there. Let's see here. Okay, this one is from Antonio Da Silva, who says, "Aim for the hoop or the backboard?"
That's a great question. I'm going to take and make this a little bit longer.
Okay, not too long. Let's go.
Okay, all right. I was recently reading an article about shooting, and it was done by a person who was a researcher who had interest in basketball, and he had several things that he thought were really important for you. Number one is that the target for your shot should not be the back rim. We have heard that since I was a kid myself. We should not take and focus on the front rim, but we should focus on the middle of the basket itself. He was a little more precise, and he was saying it should be about 3 inches ahead of the center of the basket. Well, that's hard for us to measure, but when we're shooting right to the hoop, that's the thing that we want the ball to go through. And if you hit the back rim, as many coaches tell us to do, you're probably not going to make the basket, because what it's going to do, it hits that iron ring and it comes right out of there, typically a long rebound. If we hit the front rim, it is less likely to go in as well, because it hits the front rim, it'll come back. Once in a while, if it's on the top side of the rim, it'll hit and it'll bounce in. What we want to do is we want it to go in more often, and so we take and focus on dropping that ball right in the middle of that basket itself. That's the target.
And he was saying the backboard too. Don't aim for the backboard unless you are in the special sweet spot on the side of the court.
Yeah,
where,
at the sides, yes.
Yeah, where you can use the backboard as kind of a way to make it.
Right.
But here's the other thing. Visualize this. If you take a dartboard and you look at it, and it has, the rings, and then in the middle there's the bullseye. You take that and you set it on top of a basketball hoop. If you are taking a dart and you're trying to hit that bullseye, are you going to aim for the front of it? Are you going to aim for the back side of it? Or are you going to try to hit it, or loop it up and hit it right there in the bullseye? You're going to try to hit it right there in the bullseye, and you can visualize that. So you should be doing the same thing for shooting a basketball. It shouldn't be, okay, I'm going to compromise my target and try to aim at that front rim, or I'm going to aim at the back rim, because those are things that I can actually visibly see, and I don't have to visualize a target that isn't actually there. The target is there, but you do have to visualize it.
Well,
so visualize that bullseye right there in the middle of the nest.
I had a response a couple of years ago, and it said, "Coach, how can you shoot something you can't see?" And, it's just a hole, you can't see it. Well, the thing that's really interesting about that hole, usually it's painted orange, and then it's got this white net that's draping off of it. How can you miss that? And you're trying to hit right in the middle of that to make that shot go in. Now, and one of the things that's really important too is that if you shoot with proper arc, that thing is going to be a lot bigger.
Yep.
I'm not going to go into why, but it's going to be bigger.
We talk about that in all of our videos and everything, so you should really check that stuff out. Okay, so before we go, we want to ask you guys one question, and that is, again, tell us where you guys are from. We want to know, where in the world are Team Shot Science members? Are you from Tunisia? Are you from Amsterdam? Are you from Louisiana? We want to know, because we're here in California, and that really is exciting for us to know where you guys are from. Also, go out and tell your friends and family, wherever you guys are from, to check out Shot Science, because that really helps us grow the team and spread the goodwill of basketball. And
how about Premium Channel?
Yep, and one last thing that I want to tell you guys about too is that I want you to go to shotscience.com and check out our brand new website that has all of our information about shooting, and we'll have new sections up on ball handling. There's the vertical jump stuff is there. You can get t-shirts for Shot Science basketball. You can rep Team Shot Science, and we would love for you guys to get a shirt, take a picture, send it to us, and then we'll be able to share it on social media and everything. We just want to be proud of you guys, and so go check out shotscience.com. Lots of cool stuff there. And do we have anything else that we want to say?
No, thanks for being here, guys. That was great.
Yeah,
enjoyed your questions.
And we will catch you guys next time, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Oh, let's see, we got Pac-Man Alexander is from Germany, Daniel is from Costa Rica, All EE is from United Kingdom. Awesome. Oh, RB Fax is from Lithuania, baby. Oh. So awesome, you guys. Go check out shotscience.com, and we will see you guys next time.